we're going to do sensory chocolate tasting. We're going to look at chocolate, we're going to touch chocolate, we're going to listen to chocolate, smell it and then taste it. Most people know how to eat chocolate, but what they don't know is how to taste it, because eating is just crunching twice and putting it straight into your mouth. So I'm going to guide you through that system of how we get the best from Theobroma cacao. First thing we'd do is we'd look at the outside, we'd read the packaging, we'd look at the ingredients. If we were religiously affiliated, we might want to know if it was halal, if it was fair trade, if it was kosher, those things. This is fair trade organic chocolate from Guitard. It's made as a single origin. This one's Madagascan, so really, really good. A 65% chocolate. So we've read the outside, we know what's in there. We're going to open. You should get smooth, shiny chocolate. Sometimes when you buy chocolate, you might open it and look at it and there'll be white or grey streaks across the top. That's called blooming. There are two main causes for that. One is chocolate starts to melt at 25 degrees, and if we leave it in a warm place, it'll start to melt and the chocolate recedes, it falls back and exposes the sugar that's in there. And sugar absolutely adores moisture. If we then put our chocolate bar into the fridge so it'll set again, all the moisture in your fridge smells of last night's curry, the Stilton cheese that's in there, the onion, and all those aromas and moisture get drawn to the sugar and they pool around it and actually flavour your chocolate of those things that were in the fridge, which is not what we need. The other one is actually all the crystals that are in chocolate have been jumbled up by melting, not in a uniform manner, and you end up with chocolate that's fudgy and a little flaky and crumbly. When you try and pick it up, it will break, it will melt immediately on your fingers rather than slowly when you put it into your mouth and by using heat. So those two things we don't want, unfortunately. In fact, you can see just a little on this one at the centre because it is quite warm where we are today, so that wouldn't be a fault of the chocolate, that's just the storage. The next thing we'd do is touch. We'd run our finger across the bar, and it should be smooth and dry and not start to melt. And then if I just rub slightly on the corner, it should start to melt on my finger, and that's telling you that this has got real cocoa butter in, because real cocoa butter starts to melt at 25 degrees but is fully liquid at body temperature, which is 36.2. So that tells you it's not any of the modified fats, palm oil, some of those other things that you sometimes find in cheaper confectionery. The next thing we're going to do is listen to it. So we'd hold it up to our ear, and this is usually when I'm doing this with a group, so I'll turn it around. When I'm doing this with a group, they'll say, oh, it's saying eat me. And if we listen now carefully, the snap is one of the most important elements of when we're tasting our chocolate. If you look at the adverts on TV, they will all feature a snap within that process, and it's telling you that the polymorphic crystals that are in the chocolate have been aligned correctly, and then you've physically got to break them. Dark chocolate is the most difficult to break and makes the loudest snap. Milk chocolate slightly less, and white chocolate even less than that. So the strength of the chocolate is dictated or indicated by the noise of the snap. The next thing we're going to do is smell it. So we're going to lift it up, have a really good smell. What we'll smell initially is we'll get a really strong smell of chocolate, I hope, and we shouldn't get any burnt or rubbery tastes or smells in with that. What most people don't do is smell the chocolate. Our mouths are really poor at tasting. They can only identify 5 things. They do bitter, sweet, sour, salty and umami, the 5 basic things. But our noses can do 30,000 different things, and we know that dogs and cats and things do many, many more. So it's really important that we smell, because our noses are going to make up more of that flavour than our mouths are. But it's important not to smell for more than 7 seconds, because your nose stops sampling after 7 seconds. You've seen the adverts talking about nose blind. Well, our noses do that, so you need to take it away and then come back after about 10-15 seconds, and your nose will resample for 7, and you might spot something different that you missed in the first sniff, in the first aroma. And the final thing we're going to do now is we'll break a piece of chocolate. I'm not going to do that because I'm talking to you and that'll make it really difficult. You'd put a piece onto your tongue, close your mouth, and then pinch your nose. And all you should taste there is sugar, because your mouth can only identify 5 things, so it's going to get the sweet. And then release your nose, open your mouth a little and just go, and gently draw air across the top of the chocolate. That's called cooking, C-U-C-K, and it's wine and coffee enthusiasts do the same thing. And what that's going to do is spread all these aromas around your mouth. They'll start to build, so it should go from sweet to a burst of flavour, and then they should develop and become interesting. They should then start to keep the, at this stage they should still be happening, but as they start to fall away it should be pleasant, not sudden and quick. If it was sudden and quick, your brain would say give me more chocolate, and that's usually an indication for really high sugar content chocolate without much real theobromine, real chocolate in there. So this is the best way to taste chocolate. Don't eat every piece this way because it will get dull, but it's a really great way to try new chocolate for the first time. Thank you for paying attention.